Hello and welcome everyone to another Fantasy Premier League video. My name is Mo and I am today live for the first time this season on my FPL Inkling channel. How is everyone? What's going on? What's been new? What's going on? How's your season planning going ahead? Hi Harry, welcome. Hi there guys, thank you. It's that other boy, thank you for joining. It's been an absolute pleasure guys in terms of bringing you all the content, and do you know what? I thought let's bring a video today, a live stream. Let's do some question and answering. Hello Shaggy, welcome to the stream guys. And I thought, do you know what, let's do one tonight. It's less than 2 weeks now guys, 13 days left to do the game week 1, kind of like finalisation of our squad. So hi Marcus, thank you for joining, absolute pleasure to have you guys live and thank you for joining. So what decisions and dilemmas are you going through? So since the last video I made, the only change I've made basically to the squad is Fofana has been gone out or taken out, and White from Arsenal has been brought in. So the transfer happened yesterday. EXA, thank you for joining. What's up, God? So what kind of thought processes are going through my mind at the moment? What am I thinking? What am I going to look to do? And what decisions do I have left to make? So I'm going to give you guys a bit of a background around this. So in terms of this season so far, so the dilemma that I have at the moment is, I think with the whole Man City moves looking to take place, we have Grealish's deal going through in the pipeline at the moment, looking around 100 million. Now we've heard about 160 mil last week, promoted by the Sun. So that is basically 160 mil for Harry Kane. So we're waiting for that move to go through. So I've just been told by Marcus that there's an injury potentially to Sanchez. I personally haven't read it today myself. I've been at work, so if that is the case, and he's in my goal, so I potentially will have to look for another a goalkeeper. But in terms of general what thought process I'm thinking at the moment, so I put this poll out yesterday in terms of if Kane and Grealish were to go to Man City, what kind of an early kind of wild card potential move I could have. It might not even be a wild card. I might give it 2 or 3 weeks and make these moves over. So I can show you guys from here. So I'd potentially look to take out Trent Alexander-Arnold, bring in Robertson, and then remove Ollie Watkins. Actually, no, not Watkins, sorry. I'll leave Watkins in. I will remove Bamford and bring in Harry Kane. And then what that leaves me with is an additional 4 million on top. So I can take out Fernandes and bring in, obviously, Grealish, who goes all the way to Man City. So that's what potentially, let's say hypothetically, if I confirm these changes, that's what the draft could look like eventually. Once I bring in, let's say, Grealish and Kane from Manchester City, and I can put Robertson in. I don't think there's going to be much of a gap between Robertson generally and Trent in terms of points this season. There is a £500,000 difference, which I believe. But in regards to that, I think this still looks fairly strong. Yes, it's Aston Villa and Tottenham at the moment. But I think generally, once these two, if they move to Man City, I think Grealish looks more likely. I think it's going to be lethal. We need to remember, he only got 6 goals and I think 12 assists or 10 assists last season from the top of my head, but we can have a look closely. It was 12 assists, right? He didn't play the whole season, but you need to understand he created the most chances. And in that Man City team, there will be better finishers. Not to say Ollie Watkins didn't finish well, but I think generally with people like Mahrez, Sterling, Foden, Jesus, De Bruyne, potentially Kane, with better finishers, I think there will be much more scope for him to get more returns. So a question I've got as well is, what do I think about Gunn, the goalkeeper from Norwich, at 4 million could start over Krul? So at the moment, I think last season, I was reading about this. Let's have a look at Norwich. So I was having a look at this actually. So in terms of Tim Krul last season, I think they did have a few clean sheets. There's a chance that Gunn could start. I haven't seen much pre-season from Norwich myself, but to be fair, if that is the case in Sanchez, there is a likelihood that I may actually move over to Krul and Gunn. So either way, whoever does play, then I can see. And if it is McGovern as well, who's their third goalkeeper, for Norwich, then either way we can see who's going to get the kind of like thumbs up or kind of like the nod to play first. But in terms of 4.5 for Sanchez, if that is the case that he is taken out, then I might look at alternatives in terms of goalkeepers like Guata from Crystal Palace potentially. Alternative 4.5 keepers. McCarthy from Southampton, Dubravka, or he's actually injured at the moment, but Kyle Darlow from Newcastle got 80 points last season, which wasn't too bad, but there could be some save points got there. But at the moment, I don't see any issues with Sanchez, but if there are, we can always change that in the last minute. So at the moment, this is what it potentially could look like after my wild card. What kind of thoughts do you guys have? Do you guys have any questions? Do you guys think that there's any dilemmas in your kind of thought process? So why I kind of made this team at the moment, so we can revert it back to my previous squad in terms of what I'm looking for. The dilemma, what I really have, is about Harry Kane. So I really wish this transfer saga was solved by now, because the kind of debate between myself, which is going on at the moment primarily, is is he going to go to Man City? Is he not going to go? If he was to go in, how quickly can they get in? I don't think he's going to play the first game week, so that's why it's kind of like at the moment confirming me that I'm probably going to go with this squad that I'm making right now. So that's what we're looking at the moment in terms of Bamford, Fernandes, and Alexander-Arnold. At the moment, if there was going to be any changes, I will look to make them closer to the time. But in terms of an early wild card, I think there's 3 game weeks first, and there's going to be an international break. There's a very strong likelihood that within the first 3 or 4 game weeks, I may play the wild card. I might just hold off to the end of the international break, just in case that there is any kind of injuries during the international break. I think the transfer window is all the way till the 31st of August, so that is, yes, again at the end of game week 3, and then there's a break in there. So I think game week 3 and 4 will be the best kind of time for myself potentially, and for most managers, to decide what is the best time for us to play the wild card and who to bring in and who not. So at the moment, guys, this is how my team's set up. So at the back, I've got Alexander-Arnold, Ben White, Kofal, Shaw. Then I've got Salah, Fernandes, Son, and Harrison. Now, the reason why I've gone Son, personally, he's got one of the best XGs and XAs combined per 90 minutes, and his shots and conversion is absolutely unreal when it comes to converting the chances he makes. So that's why I've got Son, and he does score against big team guys. So I know people are looking at Man City and thinking, do you know what, will he or will he not come good? He does score big, and after that he's got Wolves, Watford and Crystal Palace as well before the 2 kind of like London rival games. 28 returns last season, 16% of managers have signed him up, so this is why I'm really looking forward to him, and he might even be my captain in game week 3, because I think Liverpool are playing in game week 3 Chelsea at home, so that might be a chance of me looking to cash in some points from Son there. And then Bamford and Watkins up front. What do I think of Areola? So Areola is actually a really good signing, by the way. Let's get him up. Where is he? So he's in West Ham here, 5 mil. So will he get the nod over Fabianski? That's the question I have, guys. And 2 5 million goalkeepers, is that something you really want to put in terms of kind of like 10 million of your budget? Do you really want to put that onto 2 goalkeepers? That's the question I want to ask. If you were to play that strategy, again, there's nothing wrong with that. Areola and Fabianski, it might be your preference of choice. But if you're going to put or invest 10 mil in a goalkeeper, or goalkeepers, sorry, I should say, why not go Henderson and De Gea? So De Gea's 5 mil. At the moment, the rumours are Henderson will be number 1, but there's no confirmation in regards to that at the moment, because it's just pre-season and we'll wait and see. De Gea, for me, personally, as a Manchester United fan, I think he will be number 1. But then you've also got Henderson at 5 mil as well. So if you are going to look to invest that much into 2 goalkeepers, £10 million, and why not look at Manchester United options? In terms of clean sheets between the 2, Henderson got 4 last season and De Gea got 9, so 13 clean sheets. So it shows that United defensively were quite sound, and in terms of fixtures, they got a really nice fixture run all the way up to game weeks. I'd say 6. So they've got Leeds, Southampton, Wolves, Newcastle, West Ham, and Aston Villa. Not to say they'll win every single game, but on paper, I do believe that they are winnable fixtures for United before they hit their rotten run of difficult fixtures from game week 8. Even though Leicester's, highlighted grey, I still believe that Leicester, Liverpool, Tottenham, Manchester City, they have Watford in between, but Chelsea, those are the game weeks which are really going to test United defensively. But if you look at fixtures reversely, so I've got Shaw in my team at the moment, I may look to, at that point, potentially look to go for a defender from Chelsea, because if you look from like game week 7 onwards, look at the sea of green that you do have. So I've got Reece James as someone who I've flagged up at the moment. I'm going to see how he starts off. Same price as Shaw, 5.5 mil. Yes, the prices are there, which can change as well based on how well someone starts the season. So you've got Southampton, Brentford, Norwich, Newcastle, Burnley from game week 7 onwards. So that's a really good time to potentially look at Chelsea fixtures. It might be something where I look to get like Timo Werner or Havertz in my squad. Again, it all depends upon how the fixtures are going, who's playing well, and what wildcard I play as well. So if I'm looking to get the big boys such as Kane in, I will have to make sacrifices elsewhere. So it might be the case that I downgrade Trent all the way down to Reece James. We'll have to just wait and see, guys, and that is basically my plan at the moment. So the first 6 game weeks I'm going to focus around United defensively because of the fixtures, and then from 7 onwards I'll be looking at potentially Chelsea. So you've got Ben Chilwell, Azpilicueta, James, Rudiger, these kind of players to look at as well. So one of the questions I've got is, how can you send your team? So one way to send your team, I will be doing another draft video, guys. So I did one last week. Thank you to everyone who submitted it, and thank you for everyone who submitted it and I didn't include it in. So I'm going to be making one very, very soon, potentially maybe tonight or maybe tomorrow. So if you want to get it through to me on FPL Link, just send it to me via private message. If you're having any issues, just tag me into it and let me know, and I'll be there to review and add it into my video. I do apologise if I didn't get it in last time. I assure you, by the time I was making a video, every single draft that was sent to me, I did include it in, guys. So thank you, everyone. And if you do want to send your draft through, today will be the day for you to send it through to me for me to make that video for early next week. What else am I looking at in terms of kind of like transfers and moves? So there have been other drafts that I potentially looked at the moment as well. So for example, hypothetically, let's say I want to upgrade Ben White. So this is something I've also looked at. So potentially we could go to, rather than having Ben White, we could take out Kofal and we can bring in, I've had personally quite a good look at Van Dijk. So if we were to get Virgil van Dijk into the squad, now for that I'll need to arrange about $1.5 million. So potentially I can downgrade Son, and we could look to get in from Chelsea. Sorry about that. For 8.5, we could look to get in Havertz. So let's pop him in. So potentially what the draft could then look like, again 4-4-2, we could have White, Alexander-Arnold, Shaw and Van Dijk. And in midfield, we can have Salah, Harrison, Fernandes, Havertz, and then Watkins and Bamford up front. Why have I gone Bamford and Watkins? It's what I'm going to be talking. Just bear with me a second. I'm just going to take a sip, sorry. Thank you. So, why have I chosen Bamford? So Patrick Bamford last season for me was one of the most underrated strikers in the whole game. Almost got 200 points, guys. Pretty much played every single week. Was subbed against Manchester City when they beat them at the Etihad because of the sending off. But one thing really inspired me about Bamford is he's on penalties. He wasn't expected to do as well as he did last season. He got 17 goals, 11 assists. Now, 28 returns in 38 game weeks for a player who's worth only 8 mil. Last season, I think he was 6.5 when he started. It's a phenomenal return. He's got a good record in terms of discipline. Only got 3 yellow cards last season. 26 bonus points. So when he does go big, he does like to go big, guys. And one thing I really do like about him is he's unselfish. He did actually admit in one of the kind of like, I think it was match of the day interviews where they asked, why did you square it rather than shoot? And he was like, well, I had myself in my fantasy team. But in regards to me making sure I get the points, I had to square it, and he got the goal through. So it was really sweet and innocent of him to even mention FPL during match of the day. But this guy is to look out for. Bielsa has, like, for me, a method. Yes, they don't have ideal fixtures. They have a culture of positivity. United, Everton, there's no reason why they can't score. They may not win the games, guys. So defensively, I'm not backing them. Offensively, I will always back them. So, Harrison, Rafinha, Dallas, Bamford, of course, from last season's showing, we have to give them the benefit of the doubt. And, the culture that club has, brought to the Premier League, the culture of positivity from the Championship. Other sides coming up this season, Watford, Norwich, Brentford can really be inspired by that. So that's what I'm looking for from them to continue on. Once they get through after the Liverpool game, after game week 4, have a look at that run. Newcastle, West Ham, Watford, Southampton, Wolves and Norwich. I think that's a brilliant run for Leeds itself. So if you're looking to even potentially triple up on Leeds, so you can go Dallas, Rafinha or Harrison, any combination of the two, or all three of them, and you can have Bamford up front as well, so you can potentially go that way. A lot of people are having Mesula in their goal as well, because he did really well last season in terms of how he performs. So that's a really good time for you to potentially really take advantage. So I could even see from potentially game week 7 to basically 11, I can see myself tripling up on probably Chelsea and Leeds. So I could look to get like Havertz, Chilwell, Werner plus Bamford, Rafinha and Harrison potentially as well. So it could be a triple up of both of those to take advantage of those fixtures. And by then, obviously, I think the first 8 game weeks, Everton and Liverpool's fixtures will swing as well. So a lot of people can actually make those straight swaps. So again, the wild card can be played by you guys at any time. But these are the kind of fixtures I'm looking at, the fixture swings. And those are the teams that I'm looking to take advantage of. Obviously, other experts or other managers have their own thought process. They may be looking at other teams in terms of fixture kind of swings. But these are the 2 teams that I'm looking at, guys. But I've gone Bamford early because, I do believe that he's going to score against the big guns. And that is what I really like about Bamford is, he's not just, a small team basher or doesn't turn up for the big games. He will actually be there and get you big points. A few more questions, guys. So in terms of White value for money and Aït-Nouri the same price and offers more attacking threat, I believe that. So I've had a look at Aït-Nouri as well. I'm a bit sceptical on Wolves, to be brutally honest. I mean, I want to see how they play. Now, if Aït-Nouri can become the kind of like next Dallas or Lundstrom from the last 2 seasons, he's someone I'm kind of touting for that. So I'm actually making a video at the moment to say, there have been 2 players in the last 2 seasons who've been listed as defenders. But are looking, potentially play a bit further up the field to get you some points from the midfield, and it really benefits you because as a defender, if you score, there's more points as well, and there's value with clean sheets and etc. So I'm looking at potentially Aït-Nouri and a few more defenders that I'm highlighting at the moment, who I think can be like the next, Dallas plus Lundstrom, but we'll have to wait and see. Who I kind of finalise, and I'll bring you guys that content very, very soon. But Aït-Nouri, we'll have to wait and see, guys. I'm not too confident. But in terms of Ben White, the reason why I've gone for Ben White, 4.5, I'm not intending to get any kind of like goals or assist returns personally. So last season, I'm aware he got, he didn't get any goals or assists, but he got 100 odd points. Now at Arsenal last season, as much as they struggled before that Boxing Day game against Chelsea, and there was rumours around them being relegated potentially, etc., etc. But one thing I would definitely say is for you guys to be aware of, they were the 3rd best defence in the Premier League last season. Now that is phenomenal for a squad who's been criticised. Arteta's been bashed. From an FPL perspective, if there's a squad after Man City, who are going to be the 3rd best team in terms of defensive wise, I think it was Man City and then followed by Chelsea, followed by Arsenal. These were the 3 best defences last season in the Premier League. So, there must be something going well with Arsenal themselves. So that's why I'm trusting Ben White for now. I will have a look. I mean, Fofana was in before, but I do believe Arsenal potentially will get more clean sheets than Leicester, because Leicester are someone who tend to fade away a bit after March and April. They tend to lose their kind of focus, and last 2 seasons, the season before it cost them the Champions League, and then last season they won the FA Cup, but again they kind of lose their way, and it's a bit messy in terms of injuries and squad cover. But I'm going to trust Ben White for now. That's my kind of thinking process, and I haven't had an Arsenal player in my FPL team for a very, very long time, barring Aubameyang for a couple of games last season. So I'm looking at it quite closely. One other player I am looking at from Arsenal potentially is Pepe. Now, Pepe had a fantastic end to the season last season. Played really, really well. So let's have a look at some of his stats from last season. So Nicolas Pepe, 3.6% of managers 10 goals, 3 assists last season. Potentially most of those goals and assists came in the last third. Brentford away, followed by, again, Chelsea and Man City. I'm looking at those 2 games, and from there, you can see, again, the fixtures do swing. Barring a Tottenham game in game week 6, you've got Norwich, Burnley, Brighton, Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, Leicester, Watford. Again, some really good games. Hopefully he doesn't get injured. I really want to watch how he plays in the first 3 game weeks. It might be a straight swap for where I kind of like change Harrison, upgrade to him, take that mil and a half from potentially like a Trent, and downgrade him to like a Chilwell potentially. Or I might even look to kind of downgrade Bamford to Tony, depending on how he gets on. So there's a few options that I've got in mind that I can potentially play. But I really want to see how he kind of gets off to the season, gets his start off to the season, and see what he can bring for Arsenal. So this is one player that I'm looking at. Saka again, 5.5. Attacking returns, I'm not too sure. How defensively are they going to play him? Is he going to play left back occasionally? I'm not too sure. So for a midfielder for 5.5, good value, really good potential. But again, it depends on where they're going to play him in terms of his position. What do I think of Harvey Barnes? Harvey Barnes, basically, guys, is someone that I was looking at very, very closely when I made my original draft. There was at one point where I couldn't make a decision between him and Maddison. But in terms of general Leicester themselves, they are attacking, and I think he's pretty nailed on to play obviously the left wing for Leicester. Selected by 7% of managers already, which is a good pick, to be fair. At 7 mil is a really good price. 9 goals, 5 assists last season before he got that horrific knee injury. Again, I want to see a bit more from him. I want to see how he kind of starts off the season. With Daka coming in, it's kind of really spoiled my plans, because originally I was looking to get Harvey Barnes and Jamie Vardy, or potentially Iheanacho. 2 of these 3, even Maddison. So 2 out of the 4 I was looking to get into my squad. But with Daka coming in now with European football as well, it's a bit of a curveball of who's going to be rested, who's going to play which game. So at the moment, Harvey Barnes wise, I'm a bit hit and miss. But for 7 mil, again, the only question you can always ask yourself is set pieces, free kicks, corners and stuff. It's going to be James Maddison. So he got 8 goals and 7 assists last season, 133 points. So pretty much had the similar points per game, same price. But he's got a slightly, bit of advantage in regards to his, corners and free kicks that he does take, and he does have a really good whip on a free kick as well. But in terms of Harrison, Harvey Barnes, I really rate him. And again, if he does get off to a good start this season, he does hit the ground running, then potentially again from game week, let's say 8 woods, I'd say probably 4 to 8. There's some good fixtures, and again, then Brentford, Arsenal, Leeds. But I think one of the fixtures that I'm looking more towards Leicester is going to be when the fixtures swing for Leeds in game week kind of 10-11. So after 12, they've got Chelsea, which is, I think, going to be a difficult game for them. They've got Watford, Southampton, Aston Villa, Newcastle, Tottenham, which I think, if Harry Kane's up there, I don't think it will be as difficult as a fixture. And Everton as well, with Benitez, obviously, he's moving over there. So again, there's some really good fixtures coming in for Leicester as well. And they can beat the big teams, guys. They beat Man City last year at the Etihad. I think it was 5-2 or I think it was something along those lines. So they missed a penalty as well, Man City at the Etihad. But they have got potential to score big. But Rodgers does tend to get off to a good start, so potentially getting these guys early season will be a good shout. Get them while they're fresh and not injured at that moment. So that's why I'm looking into potentially Harvey Barnes and Maddison. But the only thing that tilts me towards Maddison is the free kick aspect. Is Nori nailed on? So he's played pre-season, guys. I've watched a few pre-season games in terms of like the highlights. He has been playing pre-season. How is he nailed on or not? I mean, I can't really tell because we've got a new manager and Nuno's gone to Spurs this season. I'm not too sure. Again, that's one of the reasons why I haven't gone Nori. I've gone Ben White because I'm pretty much certain that spending 50 million on a defender, they will look to play him. And that's the reason why I've gone Ben White. I want to watch him for a game or two, see what kind of game minutes he gets. I want to see what formation Wolves line up with. So they're going to play the conventional 4 at the back, or they're going to play 5 with 2 wing backs, and is Nori going to be one of the wing backs that's going to play? It's going to be very interesting to see how they play. Obviously, Jimenez coming back, how offensive are they going to be? And in terms of fixtures as well for Wolves, let's have a look. So Nori. Cool. So less than 2% of managers have got him at the moment. So in terms of fixtures, they haven't got a really good start till the international break. Leicester away, Tottenham at home, and Manchester United at home. So in terms of that, if you compare him to Ben White, pretty much same difficult fixtures. Obviously, they've got 2 of the 3 which are difficult, and they've got Brentford in the first one. I'm potentially thinking, why not go for White now, see how they line up, and then potentially look to bring in Nori if he does play consistently and he does get the minutes, and you can then see what he kind of brings to the table and how much he can actually get us for value. Because look at the games after game week 3 of United: Watford, Brentford, Southampton, Newcastle. So it might be something that you might look to bring into your wild card. That ownership will go soaring high if he does play and get even a return in one of these games. But personally, I'd rather go Ben White. If you look at Ben White's fixtures, obviously they've got Chelsea and Manchester City away again, but they've got Brentford game week 1. So overall, I think they've got slightly better fixtures. But with Ben White in the defence, I'm really keen on watching Arsenal this season. I have huge respects for Mikel Arteta, and I think Ben White could be the missing answer. They've had a bit of flamboyance and a bit of kind of like, hit and miss form with obviously David Luiz and, other defensive players such as Bellerin, Tierney being injured, Chambers in defence. But Ben White, I think, will give him solidity, and I think it'll make him stronger. And it's early season, so games with Chelsea and Man City, they could be stalemates, potentially 0-0s. So there's a really good chance that we could get some clean sheet points for Ben White from there. What about Grealish if he goes to City? Surely he won't be on the bench for that price. So 100 mil, guys. It's only Guardiola is the only manager in the world that I can actually see who is going to bench a £100 million player. I don't think he'll be benched. Apologies for that. The only thing I have for Grealish is risk of rotation. Now, risk of rotation with him is obviously the richest of talent, but who are they going to offload? So, you've got players like, at the moment, I think they potentially have heard that they might get rid of Bernardo Silva. So you've got Gundogan, who's probably going to play a bit more further, deep towards the kind of defensive line. So who are the players he's going to be challenging for position? Sterling, Mahrez, Foden, Torres. These are the kind of players that he really will be going for. And again, minutes-wise, I think he will play more. But the only problem is it's going to be a problem for FPL managers when they come near the competitions of European later stages, cup competitions, along those lines. Generally, he's quite fit. The only thing is it's the risk of rotation. But at £8 million for a Manchester City player, he's already owned by about 34% of managers. I find it hard to believe that his ownership will not go up any further. He does look pretty much nailed on for me. But again, with the whole transfer saga and stuff, will he be available for game week 1? And if he is, I really want to see how he lines up against Tottenham, what the system is, where he plays, and what he kind of adds to City itself. That's why I'm just holding back just a moment. But let's say hypothetically, Grealish and Kane are available for game week 2. As I mentioned earlier, I'll be looking to take Alexander-Arnold out, bring in Robertson, downgrade Fernandes to Grealish, and upgrade Bamford for Kane, because I think Kane and Grealish at Man City, I'm not going to say hand the title to them. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm a Manchester United fan. Obviously, my allegiance is with my club, and I hope there's a good competitive league. But from an FPL perspective, you've got Grealish and Kane in that Man City lineup with the offensive power that they have. There's points to be made, and if that does mean me sacrificing Fernandes, I don't want to. But Salah has just great fixtures. Could it be potentially, if I want to save Alexander-Arnold hypothetically, now that I've had a thought, I could actually just take out Salah, bring in, rather than doing 3 transfers, I can bring in Grealish. That'll spare at 4.5 mil for me. Take out Bamford. And then if I play the forwards of Kane, and let's do a transfer, and let's have a look at the squad now. So potentially, I wouldn't have, in the first game, let's say that was all to go ahead, and Grealish were playing Tottenham along with Kane. I'd potentially go make captain Fernandes, and I'll be Kane, will be make vice captain, and then I'll save that team. Now that is what my squad would look like. I think he will play most games, guys, so that's why I would potentially even not have Salah, and I'll probably go Kane. That is potentially what I could be looking at. Again, fixtures wise, once the kind of like Spurs game is over, Sorry, this is looking at the Spurs fixtures. We can go to Man City quickly. So I'll just get up Ruben Dias. So once the Spurs come in, they've got Norwich, Arsenal, Leicester, which seem quite difficult. And then they've got Southampton, Chelsea, Liverpool. Again, they're difficult fixtures, but there's no reason why Kane and Grealish can't score points. Alternatively, what I could do is I could wait till game week 8 when Liverpool play. Yeah, game week 8 Liverpool play Watford and then play Manchester United. I could wait till game week 9 to then take advantage of the game week 9 fixture, which is Brighton, and I could bring in Kane and Grealish there. So again, it's a bit to think about from my perspective of what fixtures I really want to take advantage of. So there's a bit of tinkering to do, but again, it's just so many decisions, guys. I generally, at the moment, I'm finding it quite difficult to understand. I mean, I could downgrade Van Dijk back to Kofel, and then I could upgrade Havertz back to someone who I'm keeping an eye on at the moment is Son. So let's play it that way. That would be something which, obviously, with Salah being taken out, I'll feel a bit more comfortable, as then I feel my big hitters will be Alexander-Arnold, Fernandes, Son, and Kane, and then my medium hitters can be Grealish, Watkins, Harrison, Shaw and Kofel. Now at the moment I'm a bit sceptical, guys, in terms of updating this as well. So Watkins at the moment 35.5% ownership. I'm looking at potentially Callum Wilson, guys. So Callum Wilson, points per game when he doesn't get injured is actually really good. He had something like 6.38 points per game. This is injury prone. I'm a bit torn about it, but I'll probably look at my next updated draft. But let's take a few more questions. Ruben G says, I have Sarr, Veltman and Eiling all on rotation. I think that's really good because Sarr, for Watford, I think had a really good season last season. I think, having him in rotation, it may be a bit too much on a bench. So if you look to maybe potentially make a... Sorry, 6 mil, sorry. If you have him as potentially like a 5 midfield if you want, but if he's on your bench as a reserve, that's not bad because if you had fixture swings, you can obviously change him and bring him on as well. Improvements on how to have less rotations. I have no money spare. Basically, to be brutally honest, this game, as I mentioned to you, it will change week on week. What's to say someone like a Fernandes or a Salah won't get injured in the first 2 game weeks, on international duty? So we're going to have to be quite, what's the right word to say? We're going to have to be quite flexible in terms of our decisions and how we go along it. With me, the decision I made last season, so last season I went a bit... let's say I took a bit more risks last season because last season, due to family reasons, I kind of stopped playing the game midway through the season for a couple of weeks, and that kind of put me so far behind. I, basically took on kind of risks that I'd never done before. So, for example, I invested a heavy bench, I made regular transfers, and I wanted to see how that kind of works. A heavy bench, guys, only comes useful when you play bench boost, a free hit, and if you want to get rid of the heavy bench and you want to make it a less bench and kind of boost your squad for that 1 week only, it'll be useful. But otherwise, guys, minimize the amount you spend on the bench. Have like 2 players that will guaranteed come on to play, if not at least 1, that if you do have an injury and stuff, you can at least play with 11 players, if not 10 if you lose 2 players. So personally, I would try to take the funds away from your bench. Most experts you'll see online, who will look at it from a perspective that 4.5 mil midfielder, 4.5 mil forward and a 4 mil 5th defender, and they'll look to kind of maximise their 11 up front. Marcus says Sarr at 6 mil looks like a bargain. Great early fixtures too. Honestly, I couldn't agree anymore. In terms of Ismail Sarr, personally, I'm one of those people who like to apologies. I like to look at any players that come up promoted. I always like to give them a bit of time to see how they kind of settle into the league. Watford, in terms of the first fixtures, Villa, Brighton, Tottenham, Wolves, Norwich, Newcastle. Again, some really good fixtures, guys. Again, followed by Leeds. Last time he was playing in the Premier League, he got 12 returns, by the way, which is not bad for 6 mil. Owned by 6% of managers. Again, there's no reason why I can't change Harrison to Ismail Sarr at any point where I feel, he's kind of hit form. So I've already got him for 6 mil. I kind of went for Harrison myself personally because last season, 160 points with 18 returns was a good season for him. So that's why I've gone Harrison. But if Ismail Sarr hits form, then it's pretty much a straight swap for me. Harry asked me what I think about Wilson. I already discussed it, mate. Honestly, I'm torn between him at the moment, between him and Watkins, who to bring in. The only thing going in favour of Watkins, he's not injury prone and he'll play pretty much most of the season. The thing going in Wilson's favour, if he's fit and he plays every single minute of the season, he will score more points. He's injury prone. He's pretty much the only goal source along with Maximin from Newcastle. But the only question is how fit will he stay? There will be a period where he's injured during the season. I'm just a bit torn on who to go for, guys. And with Grealish leaving Aston Villa, again, will Watkins have the same output next season? That's something that I will want to have a look at. So at the moment, guys, that is my dilemma. Do I want to go, let's say if I take Watkins out, and let's put Wilson in. So this is my dilemma at the moment. Let's say if I was to bring him in, who do we have? So we've got Sanchez, as you can see, Kane, Wilson up front. I think that's a fairly solid squad, personally. Again, I really wanted Kane and Grealish by now to be Man City players. This is what's making them kind of like not be available for game week 1. So for me, do I really want to bring them into game week 1? I'm not too sure. I may even potentially look to bring them in after the kind of like first international break with my wild card. Well, I might not even need to play my wild card, guys. To be brutally honest, I might literally just play one transfer in a week and look to get him in that way. Into my squads, and you know Bamford was the second highest goal scorer last season, so let's move him back. So Salah, Bamford, Grealish, Kane. So even that for me for the first couple of game weeks, that's not too bad. I'm pretty comfortable with the spread of funds, and I believe that 11 players will get me the most funds that I can make from there too. Bowen is a good pick too. So yeah, I do like Gerard Bowen. A good differential pick as well. Fixtures aren't too bad in the first 5 game weeks. A lot of green there. Let me see what he got last season. I did have a look at him during my initial drafts, but then I kind of overlooked him, I think, because it was $500,000 too much. It was out of him or Rafinha. Only 2% owned, guys. So not bad. 14 returns, $6.5 Alternatively, do I believe there's better options? I think Rafinha, potentially, if you're going to go 6.5 at the moment. But if you're looking for like a differential aspect, then he does look good. And with those fixtures in the first 7 game weeks, they look pretty good. And again, if you want to change after game week 7 when Leeds fixtures do become better, then obviously you've got Harrison to fall back on, use that $500,000 elsewhere. And then you've also got, if you want to go like for like, you can go Rafinha as well. Ruben G asks me, thoughts on Calvert-Lewin? Oh, you brought back some memories here. So my first draft, guys, every draft that I started off with had 2 Everton players. So that was Digne and Calvert-Lewin. Because of the fixtures. And I even thought of bringing in James Rodriguez. This is before Benitez joined, by the way. But now Benitez is calm and all that kind of James Rodriguez stuff is going on. I had to take him out. And then basically the fixtures are really good, guys. Now, Benitez is a proven player in the Premier League. How does Calvert-Lewin look for me? He had a really good start last season, guys. There's no doubt it at all. Can he do it again? Of course he can. The fixtures are looking good as well. The thing between Calvert-Lewin and Patrick Bamford for me is, yes, he may have better fixtures on paper. It's just the penalties aspect. He got 165 points last season. Bamford got 194. In terms of minutes as well, he played around 2,871, so only about 100 minutes different, or 150 minutes different to Bamford. Again, he got 22 returns, so 16 goals, 6 assists, so 6 less than Bamford. But again, that's where the penalties come in. And if you want to take the advantage of that. So that's why I've chosen personally Bamford at the moment. Thoughts on Fofana? He should start most games. Again, he will start most games. It's just a flick of a coin between Ben White and Fofana for me. I've just gone Ben White because I just generally have this inkling within me that he will do better. Not to say Fofana won't, but we can always have a look in terms of, like, you know, I'll just get Jamie Vardy up here. You know, even from like game week 5 onwards, let's say Ben White doesn't have a good start, you can always twist, you know, you can just change it like for like and bring in Fofana in as well. Salah is a must-have, to be honest. That's the problem, guys. It's the I made a draft once where I had Salah, Fernandes, and Kevin De Bruyne in there. Salah is a must. It's just sometimes when you look at Kane and you look at the output and you look at the fact that it's going to Man City, it really does kind of catch you off for a moment where you think, I might even consider getting rid of Salah. You don't want to get rid of Bruno Fernandes either. But the only thing that's kind of at the moment, obviously the first 8 game weeks are really, really attractive for Liverpool. The only thing that I'm thinking at the moment that's kind of putting me off Salah is, maybe around December time, there may be, I think January, I think it's the African Cup of Nations. That's the only thing, guys, that's actually kind of like making me think at the moment. So I can't even say, do I want to go differential? I might go differential, guys. If everyone's going to go for like Salah, then why not go Kane? Kane at the moment is owned by 29%. Can I cash in on Kane? Will he be as fruitful as Salah? Again, for me to pull it off, it will take a lot of nerves and steel. But at the moment, I'm going Salah, guys. So let's just leave it at that till the international break. And if Kane decides to score like a hat-trick or 5 goals before the international break, or at least 3 or 4 goals, or maybe even 2 goals, and I can see he's getting into good positions. I can see that, he might get, hit form in international break and get some, good points for City. I may even just go Kane to Salah. I might make that move, guys, originally. What's my chip strategy? X is asking me. So my chip strategy, guys, is fairly simple. So in terms of chips, guys, leave them to as long as possible. So if I was to give you guys a time frame, I'd say leave it till after January. So the reason why for that is most fixtures then become congested. So if you're playing this game for the first time, I'll kind of like simplify it for you guys. So because of like cup competitions such as the League Cup, FA Cup, Champions League competitions as well, Europa League, other cup competitions, games get kind of like crowded. There could be kind of cancellations, there could be movements. So there might be some games where Manchester United won't play this week, but they'll have a double game week the week after. Liverpool might have a double game week this week and no games next week. So you can look to potentially get as many players from Liverpool in this game week and Manchester United the game week after. So you then have 2 games to kind of utilise in terms of getting points. And this is where triple captain, which is one of your chips, bench boost, which is another kind of chip you can use to use your bench players, and a free hit, which you can change your team for 1 week and it will revert back without having any kind of like, points or deductions for you. So that will be ideal personally when you have double game weeks, so you can then actually bring in all the players as max as you can. I think last year, near the end of it, I think it's game week 35, 36, United had a triple game week. And that's where a lot of players had already used their triple captainship on Kane 2-3 weeks before, where I think he got 9 points or 8 points and he got 24 points as triple up. So for me, personally, my advice is just to hold your chips. It is difficult. I did have a couple of friends last season who I think went Sterling, or I think it was Mahrez's first game, and they triple captained him, sorry. And he got something ridiculous like 50 or 60 points. I think it was the season before, not last season, the season before. It was something ridiculous, like 19 points he got, and he ended up getting something, close to like, I think it's 57 points. But yeah, they had a really good start. But that's once in a blue moon. Don't go for the 1 game week. Give yourself a chance of going for 2 game weeks. So let's say if Harry Kane at Man City was playing Everton and Watford. Even if he doesn't score against Everton, you know that he's got another game to try and prove it against Watford. So you've got double the chance and more likelihood to use your kind of chips more wisely. So with me, guys, use your wild card. That's till January 1st one, whenever you like. Probably the international break will be a good time. You'll get to see by 31st of August who comes and who goes out. But also use your chips after January in double game weeks. That's the best tip I can give you guys. Rated R, you could drop to Sancho for Fernandes, except Sancho to do very good after all. He came through Man City. Yeah, again, Sancho is someone I'm considering as well. The only thing with Sancho is I want to see how he rolls. I want to see how he gets settled in. It's not easy, guys, coming from another league. I've seen players previously take time to settle. That doesn't mean I don't think he is not going to settle. I think he'll take a bit of time. Maybe 4, 5, 6 game weeks. Let's see how he settles. Let's see what the vision is of Manchester United. Let's see where he starts and let's see what his finishing is overall. I've seen players like Havertz, Werner come from the Bundesliga last season, take a bit of time, and potentially this is a season when they'll break through. So again, let's see how it goes through. I can even downsize from Salah to Sancho. We'll just have to wait and see. What do you think of Olise from Crystal Palace? Asks Billiam Koala. Let's have a look. Never heard of him, to be fair, but let's have a look. Midfielder. Well, to be fair, honestly, I haven't seen much of him to be played. I heard he was signed recently, but in terms of like 5.5, are there alternative players that I could potentially look at for 5.5? Oh, potentially Stuart Dallas in midfield. If you are going to go for, a 5.5 midfielder, I'd rather go Dallas. Yes, he was listed as a defender last season. For 5.5 mil, I still think he's a good offensive threat as well. So that's my opinion, personally. Plus, I want to see how Vieira settles at Crystal Palace, guys. So give him a few game weeks to settle in. What's your keeper plan if Sanchez is out? So my keeper plan, I mentioned it earlier, guys. So if Sanchez does go out, I can literally just look for an alternative 4.5 mil goalkeeper. Potentially, I could look for like a Kyle Darlow. Guartia from Crystal Palace. So again, 4.5, it's not really much of an issue. And if I do need to upgrade, then obviously I can probably reduce half a mil from the team somewhere. Probably downgrade a Bamford, for example, to a Wilson. And go for a goalkeeper at 5 mil. Now at 5 mil, there's a lot of avenues that open up. Who can I go for? Then basically it's just anyone who I choose, really. I mean, it could be Meslier, for example. He looks quite promising. So that could be potential, but the first two fixtures put me off Meslier big time. I could go Pickford. So fixtures again look favourable. 8% ownership, so that's something that I might go down. So at the moment, we'll have to wait and see in terms of Sanchez. If that is the case, then I'll just have to make plans around that. Apparently Wilson got hurt in pre-season match. Not sure if serious. I mean, I've not heard that personally, but if he is, if he highlights him through, I'll probably take out Wilson and put Watkins back in. Bruno says, first guy that I see without Salah. Hallelujah. No, I've got Salah on my team. It's just I'm looking at alternatives to get Grealish and Kane into my squad. So I might go differential, guys. I might go differential. I'm not sure yet. But watch out for this space. There's no guarantee. I'm not promising you guys. But let's see what I do decide to do. Don't forget, we'll have Traore, Bundia and Leon Bailey. Yes, so I know that Bundia against, he's had 2 assists for Watkins during pre-season. So he started off well. Again, can that be replicated in the Premier League week in, week out? That's something that we have to wait and see. A lot of people forget how crucial Ross Barkley was last season at points for Villa as well. So again, Ollie Watkins, he is... Oh, this is difficult. He is kind of catching my eye at the moment. I think it's because his first 3 fixtures are so good. In terms of Villa, let's get Davis up. Watford, Newcastle and Brentford. I'm just so tempted to have him in. So for now, guys, I will go back to Ollie Watkins. And I'm just going to literally just hope for the best for the first 3 game weeks. And if he doesn't kick off, then at least I know that I can revert back to Wilson. So, guys, one other thing I looked at is at least 2.1 mil managers have signed up. And it's only 2 weeks to go. That's actually, many people are still to sign up. So these kind of teams owned by can definitely change. How about Dele Alli or Lucas Moura, asks Bruno. So Dele Alli, I've tipped him in differentials, guys. So I generally believe he's a real good differential. 6.5 mil. I want to see how he goes along. If he does go back to the old school Dele Alli, I might bring him in for Harrison and I might downgrade, again, Trent to Robertson. But if Shaw's injured, I might even go Shaw to Reguilon or Matt Doherty from Spurs. So that is an option I am considering. But let's have a look at Dele Alli. There were some really good stats that I saw. He came really good near the end of the season last season, guys. But look at his stats generically. He looks to get around, the 3 seasons he had really good between 15-16 to 17-18, above the 160 point mark. If he can get back to that kind of like double digits for goals and assists, then why not? If Kane goes, there's Son and Dele Alli become the main men with Lucas Moura. Wow, that is not bad. And I think if Dele Alli can kind of regain his form, then why not? I am looking to potentially get him into my squad, guys. He is on my watch list, so I might go differential there. Son does make much more sense than Fernandes. Surely Spurs will play a weaker team in the Europa Conference League, whereas United want a fresh Bruno for Champions League. Now, I fully agree. Fully agree with that point that you've made there, Marcus. Now, the thing with Bruno is... Actually, it's not Bruno. It's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Him and Klopp have this vision of they want to play their best squad in every single game, regardless of whether the game has any kind of like, let's say they're already qualified for the Champions League. They'll still play their best players. Last season, Klopp lost Jota because he played him against, I don't know which side it was, in the last group game of the Champions League, which they'd already qualified for. And he lost him for a couple of months. Again, I don't really understand how they can't just give youngsters a chance. Rashford was the same. He's been played consistently with an injury in his shoulder, and he's overworked him. This is the problem that I have with Ole and Bruno, and I don't think he's going to be rested. And another thing, the second thing which puts me confidence in terms of Bruno, he doesn't like being substituted. You might have seen last season when he was being substituted, there are moments where literally he was like frustrated towards Ole and didn't want to come off even in the 80th minute against Liverpool as well. So again, I'll have to wait and see, but I just can't see Ole rotating, guys. He's just likes to play his best team every single week. Do you like Tammy Abraham if he goes to Arsenal? Do you know what, guys? Tammy Abraham was in my squad 2 seasons ago when he had that phenomenal season where he was banging in goals left, right, centre. Let's get him up. Tammy, 15 goals, 6 assists, 153 points. He was in my team that season, guys. Why he lost favour, I do not understand in terms of Chelsea. He needs to go somewhere better. Trust me, guys, if he goes to any other squad and his first choice, I'm definitely getting rid of Ollie Watkins, even Bamford, and getting Tammy Abraham in. That's how much I rate this guy. And if I can save £1.5 million here on Bamford, then I can definitely look to upgrade like a Harrison to even Grealish, and then £500,000 I need to make up. Then I can obviously look to get that £500,000 from Alexander-Arnold back down to Robertson again. So watch that space. If he does go, guys, watch out for Tammy. He's going to be one of my players. Bamford scored with his first touchdown in pre-season friendly. It looked really good from Michael. That's good to hear. I mean, I didn't watch any football, guys, today. But if he has scored and it's looking good, then I'm happy with that. That's why he's in my squad, guys. Blaine, thank you for your question. I'm taking DCL for the first game weeks, then it's straight swap with Bamford. Completely understandable. This is like, if you look at my previous drafts, this is one of the biggest dilemmas I had. Sorry, I clicked on Jack Harrison. I actually had Bamford and DCL, but for that £500,000, I either play Alexander-Arnold or I play Robertson. Again, there's not much difference, but I really want to play Alexander-Arnold. And the alternative option was Son to Sancho and upgrading Watkins. So at the moment, that's why I've not gone on to DCL, but watch out for this space. I may do that in the next week. Harry asks, is Bamford more essential than DCL? To be fair, guys, essentials for me only come under premiums. If you look at it from a premium striker point of view, who do I think are the premium strikers in this game? Vardy, Aguero, and Kane used to be the 3, but obviously Aguero's left now. In terms of premium strikers for me in this game this season, who are listed, forwards, and rather than points, let's go price. Right, so there's 3 strikers above the price of 10 mil. So those are premium for me, guys. So they will be essential. Is Aubameyang essential? No. Vardy essential? No. Kane essential? Yes. But DCL is, I don't think he's an essential. I think there's alternatives such as Bamford, Watkins, Danny Ings as well at 8 mil. Ian Atcher is 7.5, but he's not an essential for me. I still need to see more from him in terms of consistency, because he started off well and then went downhill after near the end of the season, guys. So I want to see a bit more consistency, and then definitely I can call him an essential. Salah only good up to the African Cup of Nations start. If he goes again, that's exactly what I'm thinking. So would I like to get Kane in early? That's a decision that I may make, guys. It all depends. Harry, yep, Leeds fixtures do turn a lot. Bamford might not be essential as people think. Remember, Rodrigo was starting ahead of him at the end of the season last season. Yeah, again, Rodrigo did start at the end of the season last season, but I think there's a lot to do with kind of like, Leeds United knew they were safe. They were kind of trying out the new players, and you know, Bamford for me is still essential personally in terms of leads. That's just my opinion, guys. Again, it's all opinion. That's why I'm going for Bamford as well, and plus he's on penalties, so that is why I'm going for him. Apart from Manchester United, Michael asks, Liverpool Leeds first 10 games are decent. Can see them scoring low. Again, that's exactly what I believe, Michael. Harry says Rodrigo is a great shout out. He is. Rodrigo is a great shout out. But if I was to look at both of them, I would still go Bamford personally. Rated R 5.5 mil. Smith Rowe sounds better than Dallas. Again, yeah, I mean, I forgot about Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe is actually a good shout as well. You know, if it wasn't for Smith Rowe and Saka last season, I think Arsenal's season would have been, I wouldn't say they got relegated, but it would have been quite a miserable season, bless it, for the Arsenal fans. Let's have a look at Smith Rowe. There he is. So he got 74 points last season, 2 goals, 5 assists. Again, good shout. But guys, whilst I was going through here, I've just seen someone else. What about Joe Willock? 6 mil, still at Arsenal. He might go back to Newcastle. 6 mil, 79 points, got 8 goals last season. I think he broke the record for Shearer as most consecutive goals scored by a teenager. Great end to the season. And again, if he does go back to Newcastle at 6 mil, with the fixtures they have lined up in the after game week 3, I might be looking. Sorry, no, that is not Newcastle fixtures. Sorry, they are still Arsenal fixtures. So if you look at after game week 4, which I was mentioning. From Leeds all the way to Crystal Palace, they've got Watford, Wolves, Tottenham. Some really good fixtures there, guys. I would definitely look to take advantage of Joe Willock there. Ruben G asks, is Trent plus Robertson a must-have for defensive duo? Every team I'm making is having them two in it. I'm wondering if it's too much of a necessity. I think it is. Look, guys, I mean, 7.5 for Trent and Robertson. It's a big investment in defence, right? What I want you guys to think is from this way. So this is my tip for you guys. So you got someone like a Trent, 7.5 mil. Look at his goal contributions and returns. Let's not take last season. So it wasn't his best season or Trent's. Let's take the seasons before, guys. Okay. So in 2019 to 2020, 4 goals, 15 assists. So that's 19 goal returns. Okay, that's the best. Let's just take last season, which we consider not to be the best season for Trent. 10 returns. Okay, with 2 goals and 8 assists. Now let's get Robertson, who was the highest scoring defender last season. 1 goal, 8 assists and 9. But the season before he had 14 with 2 goals and 12 assists. Now let's compare that to midfielders, guys. A 7.5 mil price this year. So let's take Mason Mount. 147 points, 13 returns. So yeah, I mean, in terms of returns, pretty much similar. And he's had one of his best seasons. 147 points. And if you look at obviously Gundogan, Greenwood again, we can look at Zaha for 7 mil, 136 points. Again, it depends on what you feel is more suited. I think having a double up of Robertson and Alexander-Arnold is far better than Jota and Alexander-Arnold. I'm gonna say this as like a bold prediction, guys. I think Robertson will overall have more returns of goals and assists at the end of the season than Jota, and he'll score more points. That's just a prediction of mine. So if you are looking to bring both of them in, I'd go Trent and Robertson at this moment. The unofficial tribe says, I can't believe I missed so much of this stream. Oh, it's okay, no worries. You can still watch this again. I will post this. I will be doing some more live streams, guys. So thank you everyone for joining in this stream. It's almost been an hour already, so we'll look to wrap this up soon. But drop me some comments, guys, in terms of how you found this, how you guys finding the channel. Let me know what your thoughts are. I really appreciate all your support, and I'm looking to give you guys the best content as much as I can. Let me know if you guys want me to do some more live streams. Give me a thumbs up, and make sure you subscribe to the channel as well, and leave me some comments. All right, thank you very much. Michael says Dallas played 8 games left at the back and 8 goals and 3 assists, 5.5. Good pick and a cheap midfielder. Yep, again, Dallas, guys, good cheap pick. 5.5. You do have an option to bring in there. I'm just overlooking him at the moment. I've gone Harrison just to play safe, but whoever does better, I could actually free up $500,000, and I could potentially upgrade Watkins to a DCL. So watch out for this space. Shaggy asks, what do you think of Saka or Pepe or Digne or Shaw? Personally, out of the two, if Shaw is fully fit, I'd go Digne or Shaw. Pepe and Saka. Saka, I'll go Pepe and I'll go Shaw if fully fit, both of them. Okay, that's my answer to that. True guy says my team is Sanchez, Trent, Shaw, Cresswell, White, midfield and Sancho, Smith Rowe, attackers Watkins, Calvert-Lewin, bench. Really good team there, buddy. I really like the fact that you've got Smith Rowe in there and Bundia and Sancho. No Bruno, so that's pretty different. I like that. And you've gone up front with Calvert-Lewin and Watkins, so I like that. Really good team. Marcus TA took maximum bonus for games running at one stage last season. He did indeed. Trent hit some really good form in the second part of the season, guys, and he ended the season very, very well. He's like the top in terms of chances created as well, so along those lines. So he does like to take a shot as well. With the crowds back, guys, at Anfield, I think he's going to go big this season. Billion Koala says, my team is... It's Meslier, Foster, Trent, White, Dings, Robertson, midfielder, Salah, Sanchez, Son. Nice. Attacking Tony, Watkins and Troy Deeney. Troy Deeney, that's a nice one. I haven't seen Troy for a while. I mean, he was a penalty specialist for Watford along with Igalo back in the days. Oh, that's taking me back some fantasy FPL years. Troy Deeney, good show actually. Saw him on the TV quite a bit on football punditry last season. Harry, get the extra 0.5 mil to get Welbeck to replace Deeney. Good shout. Owen Smith, hi Mo, can you review my team on stream, bro? It's fine if not, bro. I will do. Don't worry about it, Owen. I will review your team and I'll look to bring it into my draft squad as well. So, guys, that's over an hour now onto the stream. I think I've spent a lot of time on here. Thank you so much for everyone who's joined. Thank you everyone for who stayed tuned in and dropped me some questions. I really appreciate it. Let me know how you guys found this live stream. Would you like me to do some more? I will look to bring back some more live stream to you guys as well. It's been an absolute pleasure, guys. We'll do some more tinkering and let me know what your thoughts are. Last question from me before I go. We'll probably switch Bamford later on for Calvert-Lewin. Do you think Fernandes is essential? Now, Fernandes, I mean, do I think he's essential? I think he is. I think a lot of people are putting... obviously, people are thinking Sancho will come in and make a difference. But again, guys, he will be essential for me personally. Penalties, United win a lot of penalties, and he likes to play direct as well. Thank you so much, Harry, for the comments, of the positive comments. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Have a lovely evening, guys. Please make sure you like this video. Subscribe to FPL Inkling. If you haven't told your friends and family about it, please do share out the information and let me know how I've done. I hope you guys have a lovely evening, and I will catch you guys soon. Thumbs up, guys. Best of luck with your team management.